All right, we're back live. Welcome back, Rhino. How was your off season?
Boring, man. How about yours?
It was busier than I wanted. We had volleyball, and that took up a lot more of my time than I'm used to. So stayed pretty busy.
That's
Um,
good. I mean,
yeah. So
busy is good, man. But I've been anxious to get back at this and get back to warm weather. So
yep, yep. So let's start out with the Challenge Cup major. When I went down with Tommy and those guys, and we didn't do great. So we won't talk too much about it, but looking forward to hopefully next year doing better. Um, I got a screen share. Uh, Come on, Zach, get it together. Dick Bowden, two-time B winner. Congratulations to him. Um, that's impressive. To win the Challenge Cup
very.
twice is incredible. So good job, Nick. I don't think I know anybody on your team there from the picture, but obviously you had a good squad. He's got a C team this year, so maybe he'll be doing the C Challenge Cup. So we'll see. And then Nathan, um, I don't know how to say Nathan's last name, but they won the rec men's 35 and over. Is it not showing? All right, close that. Stop sharing. Present screen share. So there they are. I got some notes. Usually you read those, but I kind of trimmed up what you sent. So they only brought 11 guys down. They tried to add some people, couldn't do it. One guy ended up fighting with the flu for the whole week. Hit 631 as a team, six guys over 600, three guys over 700. Nathan hit 815 with eight home runs, 20 RBIs, leading off. Nathan, I wouldn't normally call you a leadoff guy, but nice work. Chris Chandler hit 846, 12 bombs, 30 RBIs, three hole DHH. Combined 20 home runs, 50 RBIs between the two of them. Pomfrey also batted 739, had nine RBIs and two home runs. So congratulations, great event. There was a protest, so I'm sure you guys want to hear about that. I asked Nathan about it. Rhino, you want to start there?
Well, first of all, congratulations to those guys that went down there. They played well. Um, yeah, apparently, Florida had some an illegal player that wasn't on the roster, on the paper roster, but not online. Um, the Ohio team was told the very first time they played Florida that they were illegal, but Nathan and the coaching staff decided they didn't know exactly who it was, so they played the game in pool play. I think they scored nine in the bottom of the seventh to only lose by one in pool play. And then I guess that Florida team put them in the losers bracket. And then I guess they found out who the illegal guy was and made a team decision to they were going to protest whether they were winning or losing, but they wanted to wait till that guy came to bat, and they did it. Tournament director awarded them the protest.
Yeah, and people get all weird about protests. If you're cheating, it is what it is, right? I don't care if you're winning, losing, seventh inning, first inning. If you're cheating, you get protested. That is what it is. That's on you. That's not on another team. So, congrats again. Good work, guys. Hats off. I think the C team, D team, or the D team finished second, right? Or did they
Yeah.
win? Second. Yep.
No, they finished second. They had a good run as well.
Second. C team, I think, was right in the middle of the pack. Good job on the D team. E, I'm not sure. I don't think I remember hearing much about. But congrats all. It's a great event. Ryan, have you ever played Challenge Cup?
I went down in the 40 and over last year. It was a good time.
Yep, it's a great event. So if you get a chance to go, I strongly suggest it. Viera in January is much better than Viera in October. So the wind's not nearly as bad. It can get a little cold at night, depending on the day, but most of the time, great weather. Nice to get out of Ohio in January. So I strongly suggest it.
Quick little nugget about the 35 and over team that won the protest. So the coach of Florida and the player that was illegal suspended for a year.
Yep. Do you agree with that?
I do. I do. You got to cut down. I mean, if you're just going to oh, you can't play this game and you're going to play the if game. Why wouldn't everybody try to cheat?
Right. So and then when you get protested, you go to last place. Not everybody realizes that you don't just lose that game. You're kicked out of the tournament, and even if you were second place, you're now last place. So whatever you won, you didn't win. We learned that back in the D City Slam years ago when I protested Seacrest, and they went from second place to last place. They lost all their money, and the second and third place teams end up, obviously they were third and fourth. Now they get more money too. So it's a big deal. So make sure your roster's right. If you get caught, say, "Yeah, you got me." But don't throw a fit. Don't blame the other team. And then you played in Winter World WSL.
We went down to the WSL World in Dalton, Georgia. We were actually blessed with a really good weekend. Usually it snows down there every time I go down there, but it was 55 and sunny most of the day. Some really good teams down there. We played well. First time we were all out together. It was just a different vibe than I'm used to, which is a good thing. We all went down on Thursday. We took BP as a team on Friday. We were fielding ground balls as a team. We all went out to dinner as a team. I think those things are super important to build chemistry. And we all get along. We all played for each other. It's going to be an interesting, fun year for the Redlegs this year.
So I've never played that event. I've signed up for it, I think twice. Got canceled twice. Would you recommend going down there for most teams?
Yes, I would. It's supposed to be played on turf. They had a record number of teams, so it was split up between three different facilities. Two of the facilities are turf, one's dirt. Unfortunately for us, we were stuck on dirt most of the weekend. But the dirt down there is a lot different than up here. I didn't see many bad hops or anything like that. And usually, like the weekend before, it was 68, 70 degrees. So it's hit or miss down there, but it was a well-ran tournament. Other than that, and it's just me being petty, I hate tournament directors that'll schedule a winner's bracket game at 10:15 at night, and then win or lose, your reward is you play again at 8 a.m. To me, that doesn't make any sense when the loser's bracket's done at 8:15.
So yeah, you get penalized for winning, right?
Yes, basically.
Yeah, I agree with you. How are you feeling on Monday?
Oh man, I'm old, so it takes me 2 to 3 days to recover. But yeah, all the young guys I talked to there in the outfield too were hurting, so it wasn't just me.
Yeah, start of the year, it's tough, right? Because you're getting those muscles back working, and it doesn't matter how much you work out or run, that helps, but it's not the same as playing games. So Spilly was saying he played 3 games Monday night and he was hurting, and he's been working out all off season. It's just different muscles. So hopefully you're feeling better now.
Yeah, feel good now. Ready to go out this weekend, and it'll take another 2 or 3 days to recover after Saturday. So, but one thing I want to mention about down there in Dalton, I was definitely proud of the way we finished. But the best thing that happened was we were complimented on all weekend on how we played with class and we played hard and we didn't run our mouths, win or lose. We lost. We walked out of the ball. I mean, we got drummed. The 2 games we lost, we absolutely got drummed. We ran out of gas, but we didn't whine, cry. We didn't start talking smack to the other team. We walked out of there, and everybody in that park knew that we were the best team down there. For whatever reason, a long layoff killed us.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely happens. I don't like the first game by, and I don't like getting a big break towards the end, right? Because
Right.
just typically doesn't go well. Not my favorite thing, but I get it. And nice run, congrats.
Appreciate it.
I've heard good things about you all off season, about your team, and meetings and things like that. So there's a lot of people thinking you guys are going to do some damage this year.
Well, we're looking forward to giving it a shot, man. So we got a lot of young kids that don't know any better. They don't care who's in the other dugout. They're ready to go.
Love that. So we got the disabilities tournament coming up Saturday. It's become the kickoff event of the year, or every year. Really nice event. They do a disability game on field 1, or I guess that's field 4 now. Field 4, around noon or so, and it's awesome to watch those guys play and have fun. If you're not, if you're playing, I would suggest go down, check it out. It's an awesome event. Nikki does it right. Um, and you guys are playing this week, right?
Yeah, we're playing. I think we drew 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock Saturday morning, so we'll definitely be down there and catch the disabilities game.
Yep. And then so we'll be down there. They put all the C teams in the same bracket. I know Drew Hitchcock has a team. I'm guessing they're pretty loaded too, so there'll be some good competition. Pretty much anybody's playing in this event. So looking forward to it. I don't know what else to say about it. I know some guys are complaining about the rules. Did you have any concern about the rules at all? I'll pull those up as well. Oh, we lost it right now.
This is not about us this weekend. This is about kids with disabilities. So lay off umpires, lay off the rules, go out, have fun, and play some softball. And let's get ready for the Bash for Cash. But there's no reason to complain about anything that's going to go on this weekend because it's not about us.
No, I mean, I always say we play to win every game, but I'm not necessarily concerned if we win that tournament or not, right? I'm just going to try some things out. I got some new players, got some new things I want to try out, so that's what I'm going to do there. Hopefully, everybody else takes it that way and doesn't get overly competitive. But we're all guys, so we'll probably once the pitches start getting thrown, I'm sure we'll get excited and carrying on. And Rhino left again, so well, while he's checking back in, I did want to comment on we're going to change the format a little this year. I'm not going to do co-ed. There he's back. I'm not going to do co-ed. I'm not going to do women's, or we're not going to do co-ed. We're not going to do women's. We're just not the right guys for it. Every time we talk about it, I can see the numbers get dropped in a quarter. And it's not. I don't think it's because nobody cares about co-ed or women's. I think it's just because we're not the right guys to talk about it. So if anybody wants to do a women's or co-ed show, I will help you do it. I will produce it. You guys can do it on this channel. Anything you guys need, I will help you. We're just not the right guys to talk about it, so we're not going to anymore. This isn't the right audience. It's not the right format. So we do appreciate women. We do appreciate co-ed. I know everybody says I hate women. I do not hate women. not at all. My wife and daughter I love very much. I think Nikki's really good. I don't know why I got that, whatever. But so if anybody wants to do that, please reach out. I'm more than willing to help. And also moving forward, we're going to go YouTube only. So doing this on Facebook gets us nothing. If we do it on YouTube, we might be able to get a little bit money back because it does cost money to run the show. It's not a bunch. We're not looking to make a ton of money, but if we can get a little bit back to at least cover our costs, maybe buy a couple buckets of beer, that's a win. It's not going to change anything for you. It doesn't cost you any money. You just click on the link and then you're in there. So you can still comment, and even when you comment now, I'll be able to see who's commenting because right now I see comments, but I have no idea who's saying what. So, Rhino, you got anything on that? I'm guessing not.
No, I just want to reiterate I don't know anything about the E program for USSSA.
Yep.
So we are still looking for someone who's knowledgeable about the E to come on and help us out as well.
Yes, please, because I'm way too far removed, and Rhino is as well. So I guess we'll talk some rosters. Did you get some?
So Blake Hall sent me all the C rosters. I didn't really get a chance to look at it. I just pulled up the D rosters, so I figure we'll just go team by team and take a look and see what we got.
Okay. Do you want to start with C or do you want to start with D?
Yeah, let's go with C.
Okay. So give me 1 second and I'll pull it up. So we'll start with Tiger Fitness. They lose Sam's, Malampy, and Garrett. So it's 3 pretty big losses, but they added Tolbert, Randy Davis, and they recently picked up the Elmores. So that helps. Here, I'll pull it up now. So I think Tolbert is one of the best pitchers in C. Arguably, could be the best, right?
I agree.
You and I know that. I don't think everybody knows that. I had Malampy and Tolbert at the same time. Malampy did the majority of the pitching, But if I really, really wanted to win a game, Tolbert pitched. So I'm not sure if you call it an upgrade or not, but the guy is really good hands. He'll roll off the couch and hit both lines. Guy's a stud. You pick up the Elmores, makes your outfield really good. So they're going to be good again. I think the only thing you can really be concerned about is their infield defense. I'm not sure who all they got for that. They got a couple guys I don't know. There, got it now. Okay, there we go. So Burris, obviously, I mean, he probably makes one out of tournament. That's exaggerating a little bit, but not a ton. That's a really, really tough out. Riley is the guy that came on last year, Sam's cousin. Dude's a stud. Every bit of a
Is he the former baseball player?
Yep. If you, I would not be surprised if he goes conference middle of the year. Who knows? He'll probably stay out the year, but after that, the guy's super talented. Probably won't stick around the sea level long unless he really wants to. Randy Davis from LSR. Elmore, as I talked about. Burton, another tough out. Sanders, stud outfielder. Yoder's the sponsor. Steigers, tough out, been playing forever. Connor Patterson murders it, right? Brian Bush, that's one of the LSR guys I don't know. Brian's back. Jimmy King from the lower Tiger Fitness team. I'm guessing he'll be a role player. Joe Muscari, another tough out. Eric Jameson, tough out. Blakeman, tough out. And then the other Elmore, and then Wardo and Blake. Blake always with Brian. I'll say it again this year just to mess with them. But Blake, obviously good infielder. Another tough out, and Buster as their coach. So really good again this year. I expect them to be at the top 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure what order yet, but they're going to hit their home runs like they did last year. Plenty of offense. Outfield's really good, and they picked up Tolbert, which is a great pitcher. So they'll be good again.
I don't know where your outs are in the lineup. That's the problem.
Really tough, right? So you got to make some plays. You can't give any errors, so it puts a lot of pressure on your defense. So I guess we'll go with my team next. So we added Cookie. Obviously, that helps a lot. We got Drew Chase back from – I had him a couple years ago. He's been bouncing around, but I'm glad to have him back. He'll be playing some third and catching. Jared Lee was one of our 2 pitchers last year. He's back. He'll be pitching a bunch. Matt Allen, good utility defensive infield guy. Glad to have him back. Rickson, good first baseman, tough out. Isles, the world MVP, he's back. Great pitcher. Sammy Lawson, tough out, good infielder. Brandon Shelton, amazing glove if anybody doesn't know him. Really excited to have him. Shanks, he'll be playing center field for us. Another tough out, ton of talent. Conley from Wild Things. He's another utility guy, and I mean he's going to be in the lineup more than he's not, but you can use him wherever. Very tough out. Lightsey, obviously stud. Spilly, obviously really good outfielder. Sully, a lot of power. More outfielder. Colin, our shortstop. Tough out, good glove. Cookie, I got to figure out what I'm doing with him. Pizza, another corner outfielder, really good stick. And Dylan Lee, he's coming back from the shoulder surgery, 2nd year removed. I watched him play Monday night. He might end up being our best player this year. He was stroking the ball well, fielding it well, really confident. So, you have any questions for me, Ryan, before you move on?
So as far as Dylan Lee, I think he's the most underrated player in the city, hands down. He can hit for power. He can get you a gap, and he picks it. I'm a big Dylan Lee fan. So.
Yeah, funny story. I picked up Jared Lee last year, and he's like, "Do you want my brother?" I was like, we're kind of full." He's like, "Are you sure?" So I was like, "Okay." So I asked around. They're like, "No, you need that dude." And I didn't remember who he was, and they're right. Yeah, he's very good. He hit 680 for me last year. I'm guessing it's going to be higher this year. He's healthy. He looks good. It's going to be a really tough out. I'm really glad to have him. So I was wrong. And then I think some of these young guys that people don't know, like Shanks and Shelton and some others.
So I was going to ask you about Shanks. Justin Shanks is the only one that I don't recognize on your team.
So he's been playing for Clutch, and I think they were called Breeden last year. He's their center field high school baseball player from St. X. Ton of
Is
talent.
he tall and skinny, bats left-handed?
Yep, tall, skinny, bats
Okay.
left-handed. Really excited about him. Apparently, his dad was a big-time player. You might know him, Shanks. I don't know.
Is it Pat Shanks?
Could be. Um,
Okay.
Chuck talks about him a lot. So, guys has a ton of talent. I think he's a guy that could play conference eventually if he wants to. I'll try to get him there if that's what he wants to do. But I'm really excited about him and the team in general.
So do you think this is the best team you've ever had on paper?
It's tough, man. I think that 2021 team is the best seed team in the last decade, and I will go to my grave thinking that. We never had the chance to play Steve's 2022, so there's arguments both sides, but maybe we'll see. There's a lot of young talent, a lot of veterans. If I can make a gel right, it's possible. So we'll see. We have defense and offense, a lot of energy with bringing on Cookie. So hopefully.
Now, are you guys going down to defend your title in WSL, or are you going to go U-Trip?
We're going to play WSLC.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, your team looks good, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. So somebody, let me top the banner. So somebody said he is Pat Shank's son.
Okay.
Is that who you're thinking?
Pat. Yeah. So when I first started playing EMR, Pat Shanks, John Steele, those guys, they were on the backside of their career, but they were still really good players. And when you're a young kid and you go down to the Metro, that's all you hear: another home run, Pat Shanks, another home run, John Steele. So it was a good time playing against them guys for the year when I first started playing. And if his son's half as good as his dad, then you're in good shape.
Okay. And then Steve's now elite. No more BP, no more Sunoco. So they picked up G. They picked up Doug Teagarden from my team. Andrew Hitchcock. Looks like Buckman's on there. Seacrest. And they bring back Eagle, Benjamin, Jimmy Warren. They picked up Jeb from my team last year, Logan Hoskins, and KJ is obviously back as well. So another one of the top three teams, right? You think. Who knows how it plays out, but they look really good. Infield looks really strong. Two strong pitchers, a lot of power. They should be right in with the other two. What do you think?
Well, I see Tony Brown's on that roster, and I'm a huge Tony Brown fan. He's one of the better hitters I've ever seen.
Yep.
Especially as a DHH. I don't know who's going to DHH him or KJ, but you can't go wrong either way.
Yeah, so I missed him. I glanced over that, but yeah, obviously he's really good too. Hopefully he's healthy. I know he had some issues with, I think his bicep or something like that. Ricky Penner just slow as shit. Okay, Ricky Penner's not on that roster, is he? No. Okay. I guess Cribble's back in time a little bit. So yeah, it's likely one of the top three teams. Again, who knows? Sportsco, Markham. Come on. So he revamped his team a little bit. He picked up Tyler Schmidt, who played with us on the back half of last year. Ton of power, a lot of potential. He's got the Hugo Tobler, just the one. Is it just the one? So Jason's good. P. Ron, solid third baseman. Bolin, he might be the best player in C if you can get him there and he's ready to play. He's obviously very good. Clay Collins, a lot of talent, young talent. Nate Broughton, a lot of young talent. Quinn, he's going to give you everything he's got when he's swinging. And so Chris Connor, veteran. So it's a good looking roster. I think they'll be right there with the other three teams. They don't play at MAB, we probably won't see them a ton. But when we play at West or East, they'll be right there with us. Any comments on the Sportsco team?
It looks like they got a lot of speed on that team. So my buddy Steve Morris, I'm looking forward to see what he can do at the C level. He plays league nights with us on Thursday. He's got a ton of pop. So when he sees some better pitching, it's going to be fun to see what he can do.
So what team was he with last year?
He was with BOTC.
BOTC. Okay. So they probably got a few of those guys that I'm not familiar with. Markham knows what he's doing, so I'm sure this team is good. I have no doubt that they'll probably beat us a few times. Hopefully, we beat them more than they beat us. Let's see who else we got. Legacy coming up from D. I'm probably not going to know these guys as well as you, but obviously I know Hunter Gribble, Johnny Elite played with me in the past, Adam Bailey, Talon. So those couple of guys are really tough outs. But I'm guessing is that Bo Gray there, Dustin Gray?
Yes, yeah.
Bo Gray, obviously a stud. What do you think about this team?
So I think they're going to be able to compete and they'll be able to beat anybody on any given day. Anytime you got Johnny Leap on the mound, you got a shot against anybody. This Omar Velasquez, absolute stud. I don't know how much he'll be there, but he's definitely a game changer when he's there. The Ryan Beard guy, he's definitely a stud as well. But last year he wasn't able to play all the time, so I don't know what his availability looks like. Then you got Jordan Town, who don't make many outs.
Yeah, so I mean, you got to give Ryan Collins a lot of credit because their team is competitive every year. They were competitive in E, they're competitive in D. I'm sure he'll find a way to win in C. He just finds a way to do that. So I think they'll be, another tough team to play every week. Is that it for the locals? Yep. So Hostile Takeover Sports. We played them last year in a tournament. I don't know how much they play locally, but they are a local team. See who's even got a roster. So I don't know any of these guys. We played them. They were a good team, but I don't know much about them. Maybe you do.
Yeah, I don't recognize any of the names on the team.
I think they play out of town a bunch. So not a whole lot to say about them. Corrupt from Dayton got bumped to C. They'll be playing C for this year. And then Old Bag dropping from B to C, revamped roster. I don't see them on here, but my understanding is they'll be a C team this year as well.
Now, are they going under the Old Bag name?
They are, from my understanding. Nick, he'll have a good team out there. They'll be one of the better teams. I only mention those two because they come to Cincinnati quite a bit, so I'm sure they'll be down here. And then from Kentucky, Syndicate, that's where you probably recognize a few names from that team. So they got Pomfrey, Mike Teagarden, Caleb Hardy I recognize, so I'm guessing they'll probably venture up here a little bit. I don't know their team very well, so we'll see. And then Six Pack, you said you knew somebody on that roster that we were supposed to shout out.
Yeah, Bo Baldrick's with Six Pack this year, so good luck to him.
Good. Hopefully they come up and play a little bit. Do you know how much they're planning on coming up?
I'm not sure. I didn't. I know primarily they were a WSL team, and then they got bumped from WSL E to D. So I don't know how much they played WSL last year. I didn't think they played much U Trip last year to get bumped to C. So I'm not sure whether it was a auto bump or they picked up guys to play C.
Right. So I believe they got bumped in WSL as well. Is that correct?
I know they got bumped from E to D, and then I'm not sure what they did last year if they got bumped in WSL or not.
Okay. I think I always get them mixed up with another team. So I can't remember, but I thought they got second and ended up getting bumped. And then Days, they come up quite a bit. They got all of 7 guys on their roster. I'm sure, he'll figure it. He'll finish up the roster or whatever. But they're always good. They're tough to beat.
Now, are any of our local guys playing with Days this year?
Not that I'm aware of. Ryan Rickey, I believe, is now with Legacy. So I think that was the only guy. that I knew locally, but I'm sure they'll be up here, quite a bit. If I know Clay at all, and he'll let us know about it, which I like.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of it for the C division, unless you got something else.
No, I mean it sounds like there's going to be more teams in that division than last year, consistently playing on the weekends. So that's a good thing for the C. What's your take on the bump to the elite level when you get bumped? What's your take on that?
Okay, that's tough, right? Like, I don't agree with it. If you get bumped, that's fine. So you can either break up your team and go your separate ways or whatever. But to force a guy like like Joey Vaughn back in our day, like he has to play C, or I guess he would have to play B, right? Where you got like a guy.
Well, if he got bumped from D to C, he would be C elite, so he would have to play C.
Well, we've got bumped from C to B.
Yeah, so you got bumped to B, so then he would have to play B. Yeah, that's tough, man. I can see doing it at the lower levels because guys realistically should be able to compete. If you get bumped from D to C, you should be able to compete in the C. But C to B is a different ballgame.
So I'm not sure if the rule works that way or not. I was not aware of the rule. I did see when I added Conley to my roster. I guess he got bumped from playing with Legacy. He was C plus, and I assumed that was because of that, but I've not heard that rule. So yeah, it's tough, right? Like, so I get it and I don't get it. So I don't know. Yeah, so if we were to get bumped to B, all those players would have to play B the following year. That's tough,
See a
right?
lot of retirements.
Right. So I think you're pushing guys out of the game. I'm more okay if you split them up and they go their separate ways, and then you're not a mega team anymore, and right, so you have to rebuild like I did. I understand why they do it, why they did it. I don't necessarily agree with it. So
Right, right.
So I agree with Brian here. I think if you're bumped twice, the lead tag is fine, right? So like if like one of my guys, like Sam Lawson, right? We got bumped to B. He stayed with me. If we get bumped to B again, he's B plus. I think that makes more sense. But at the same time, he would probably not play anymore after that. I'm guessing. I don't know. So again, you're pushing guys out of the game. But I do see that making more sense. Okay, so it's only for D and elite, D and E elite status. See, I don't think that's right because Jeremy Conley's C plus. So maybe it's only when you get bumped from D to C and E to D. Maybe that's what they mean. Okay. So that's that. And then so I'll start running through some of these names. If you want to talk about them, we can. Soul Bros. So they were bumped from E to D 2 years ago. They're back in D this year. I'm sure they'll be improved. That's kind of how it usually works. Do you know any big pickups from them? Do you want me to pull up the roster?
I'm not. I'm pulling it up now. I know they came on at the end of the year and were playing really well. Looks like they picked up Brandon Bennett from Tripods, Kelvin De Los Santos, Dan Robinson, left-handed. He whacks it. D-Ray, I'm assuming D-Ray's going to do the majority of the pitching, him and Hunter. D-Ray single-handedly won the 35 and over lower metro last year early. I finished second, but he completely carried that team to a second place finish. It was very impressive what he did. So if he can continue that all year long, these guys are going to be tough to deal with.
Yeah, I could definitely see them making a jump in their second year. And D could be a team to beat. You get better as you play that level. I've learned that, and then you pick up pieces as you need. Right, you'll see where your weak spots are, and you get better. Typically, how that goes. Mafia Forever, Nasty Hooks, Nephews. I would like to talk about Nephews. Have you seen their roster?
I have not looked at it. Pull it up now. Oh, the Sam's boys.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
So they got Andrew Sams, who I felt was one of Tiger Fitness's best players last year, the upper team, right? I think he hit leadoff for them most of the time, was one of their better outfielders. I think he's also a really good infielder. I think he's a B-level player if he wants to be, but he looks like he wants to play with his brothers. And then you got Noah, who led my team in home runs last year. And he's very good as well. So I think the team's gonna be really good, right?
Yeah, they're definitely gonna be a tough out for sure.
Yep. I'm guessing they'll probably use Noah as their hitter, and that solves a lot of the problems about him keeping it in the park, right? So you don't have to worry about it. All the Sam's got kids are good, and Nephews was a tough team anyway, so they only got better. I'm guessing you're going to see them on the Monday morning winner circle quite a bit. So look out for them.
You better put Noah behind Sam's, because if I'm playing him, I'm walking him every time.
You're walking through Sam's.
Yep.
Really tough out, right? New Wave. It's a new team. One of my guys from last year was on there. Micah. He was kind of my backup center fielder. A lot of talent, but you're probably going to recognize a few of these names. So they got Merkin, Cole Thomason, Weoff, guy named Peachy. You might not know Peachy, but he's a good player as well. Juan Torres. You probably know a few more of these guys that I don't, but if Weoff's running it, I trust his decision making. I think he knows his talent, so I'm guessing they're going to be pretty decent.
Yeah, so I watched them guys play at the end of the year last year, and they're going to be a really good team. Wehoff knows what he's doing. OTF was a tough out last year, and he ran that team. Looks like he tried to. I guess they split into two different teams. OTF still got a team, and then he went his own way, which is good. More teams in the D is always a good thing. But yeah, that's a team that I don't want to draw in the first round of the tournament for
sure. Let's see who else we got. I'll keep rattling them off. Pitch me one. Stop me when I talk about a team. Suspects.
Yeah, I was trying to pull their roster up. Who are those guys?
I don't know. I saw Cincinnati D teams. I read them on here. Tribe.
So Tribe's going to be Brian Thaman and those guys. Primarily a WSLE team. They might sprinkle in some U-Trip D here and there for City Slam and Bass for Cash, things like that.
Odd Sox.
Who did they pick up?
All right, let's look. They didn't send you their roster?
No.
Why can't I find them? I think they're called, Wellman Odd Sox. Ryan Gribble, full time. That's a big one.
Yeah.
You can put him anywhere, and he's probably your best player at that position. Hunter Hopkins, I think I saw him play Monday night. Hunter, if you're on there, confirm that, but he looked like a nice player. Ricky Penner, there he is. Odd Sox, they were solid last year, a little bit up and down, but a lot of talent on that team. Brian Peace, good infielder. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they were a top 5 team in the city last year in the D. I don't expect it to change this year. Gerties is a good pitcher. I'm assuming him and Gribble are going to be splitting time. Can't go wrong with either one of them. So, same thing. If the Odd Sox if they're there to play ball and take care of business, they're a very dangerous team. If they're there to do other things, never know what's going to happen.
Jake Daugherty, that was the guy that played with Stampede, right? Third baseman?
Yes. Yep.
Nice player. This Justin Schlegel guy hits it. I was watching him whack around on Monday. So they have some options there. I think they'll be good. Like you said, just depends on what their priorities are that weekend. So we'll see.
Be interesting to see if I don't know if Nate's running that team, whether he's going to lead off or not.
I was just giving you crap, Nate.
Yeah.
You don't look like a normal leadoff guy, but I don't believe in that either. I had Chris Newberry leading off years ago, and he's not he's not your typical frame for a leadoff guy either. So it's just all about getting on base. If you're doing that, then you can lead off. TCS Arch Design.
So yeah, another bump from E to D. We actually draw them at 11 o'clock Saturday, so I'll get to see how they look. I've heard good things. Heard they picked up some really nice players.
TSC Pinnacle Contracting. Players
are always a tough out.
Yep, they are. Quietly very good. Shockers.
I don't know anything about them.
Let me see if I can find them.
Okay, the Alpha Dog team, is that Clem?
Well, there's two of them on there, but I think Clem was somebody else. I might be wrong. I thought he was with Woodpeckers.
Okay, so they got Strider and
it's Strider.
Carmen. Yep.
Strider. What are you doing, Strider? Okay. Andy McCoppin. Wax it around a little bit. I don't know most of these guys. So Strider, if you're good, tell us. I'll believe you. Let's see. A couple guys from maybe not. Okay, I've got eights. Did eights play D last year?
No, they were E, so they're a bump.
Okay.
And listen, I'm going to warn everybody: don't take the eights lightly just because they were an E team last year, because they will beat you. Without a doubt, they will beat you.
Yeah, I was watching them. They kind of had a team in the 25 and under. And they were pretty much playing the majority of my team, and they gave them a really good game. So I'm guessing that equates to pretty good in D, and they were probably really, really good in E, which they were. So
they've got sneaky power. They've got a very good pitcher that throws strikes. He's also their DHH. He's a very good player. So just because they played E last year, don't take them guys for granted, because they're definitely not going to be intimidated by you at all, and they're going to give you everything they got.
Eights picked up Jimmy Williams as a hitter. Can't smoke it. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
So yeah. Kraken. Jimmy Clark, always finding talent under every rock there is. I don't know how he does it, but he always seems to find good talent.
So Jimmy actually sent me a nice little write-up. I asked him what his goals and thoughts on the season were going to be, and he said that he doesn't think they're going to be a team to win the world. But again, that's a pipe dream for most teams. So, but he does expect them to be a top 10 D team in the city. He expects them to win a few tournaments. He said AJ Schomburg's machine at shortstop and Lucas Grammerman in center field could play C locally. But he said they've been good for years and have stuck with him. Eli Aston is a new kid on the block. He's only seen him for a few games, but he thinks this kid's going to jump on the scene and just completely take over. He thinks he's going to have a breakout year. So he's got a lot of young guys just keep playing together and getting better. So
okay, good. And then there's obviously not every team's on here yet. Your team's not on here. I've heard that you guys are going to be a really tough out this year.
On paper, you look at us and you kind of don't know some of the guys, but we've got a shortstop, Dakota Hunley, who is phenomenal.
Yep.
Defensively, he's one of the best around. He's figuring out offensively, cutting the ball, hitting gaps, and he's got speed. Phil Blakes is a very underrated player. I always knew Phil was good, but then watching Phil this weekend, you've got to literally watch Phil every game to appreciate how great he is. He's as consistent as can be. Adam Dries is getting just better and better on the mound. It's going to be a fun year. And like I said, we're not those guys, they don't know any better, so they don't care who's in the other dugout. They don't care whether it's Joe Schmo or whether it's Resmondo. They do not care.
Good. And then I heard you brought some guys with you too that were pretty decent.
So I brought my my brother Riley Stewart. I may be biased, but I always feel like he's the fastest guy in the park. He made all world down there in Dalton, Georgia, center field, leadoff hitter. He didn't make many outs. Um, he's going to be a really good player. I think he's 24, 25 years old. Um, if he was smart, he'd leave me to go for greener pastures, but he hasn't wised up yet. So he could play. He could play higher if he wanted to, just because of his speed and defense alone. But he's starting to figure out how to hit it a little bit. Doesn't have much power, but he's a gamer again, and he gives you everything he's got every single play. Um, and then another young kid, Seth Keith, 20 years old, who may end up being better than my brother Riley. Same tool set, but a little more power.
So yeah, you guys are gonna be tough. In the few meetings that I was in, you guys were kind of the talk of the meeting, so I'm sure you guys will be very good. And then Tiger Fitness is not on there, so they were borderline, probably a borderline bump last year. I'm sure they got even better. Probably might be the best team in D this year. We'll see. But what do you know about them?
So I know Red talked like this was his last year, so they wanted to go out with a bang. I know they picked up some guys from the tripods last year. Eli Price. Um, they got little Frankie playing short. Cody Roden playing second. I believe they got the right fielder from the tripods as well, um, who doesn't make many outs at all. Picked up Moser, I believe. Um, so they're going to be a tough out. Skowski on the mound is very underrated. He's got a filthy curveball. I can joke around with John because if there's a guy on first and there's a ball hit back to John, he doesn't have any idea what to do with it. He completely forgets that he can throw it to second base. So it's pretty funny to watch. Then you got Red yelling at him about it. So it's
my favorite story about Rez when he got thrown out and he came back with glasses and said that was his brother that got thrown out.
Right. Yeah, Red's a trip, man. He's funny.
Andrew Arnold, who's Andrew playing with? Is he with you guys?
Andrew, I tell you what, Andrew, when I first started playing with Andrew, shaky at best would be the word to describe him. But he's just gotten better and better and better. And he went down to Georgia this weekend and just tore it up. He also made the all-world team. Played right field, runs like a deer, played great defense. He's turned into a really, really nice player.
So these two guys, Breeden and
I forgot about Broshier. Broshier is an absolute animal. He could play with anybody in the city. I don't know if many people know who he is, but they'll know him after this year. I promise you.
Okay. So people were telling me to pick him up. I didn't watch him enough to know if that was a thing or not, but I've heard really good things. Everybody talks him up. So do you think I'm not going to steal him from anybody, but do you think he could play on my team?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So yeah, obviously they'll be very, very good, possibly a world title contender with a roster like that. So good luck to them. Red, I love Red, awesome guy. So they deserve a really good year. Is there anybody else in D that I missed?
Quality Tire.
Quality Tire.
So they're gonna play a little more U-Trip this year, as well as the circuit. He expects them to be a top 3 D team in the city, and then a top 5 BSC team in the country. So they're playing 24 tournaments, and his goal is to win at least 5 of them. He thinks he's going to have some breakout players in Justin Frost, Raheem Hassan, Aaron Herring, Demetrius Colbert, who's an outfielder and pitcher. He says he'll be playing B in about a year. And then Phil Anderson at second base. He said they got some young studs to watch. They picked up Peanut, Andrew Pagnotta, Jesse Moore, and Tyler Lyons. So they're going to be a tough out as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good. Good job. Good job. I forget what you said. Birchie Rapping Ass. That's what his Facebook name was. Years ago. Let's try to think what that was. So
yeah, D-Lo.
D-Lo, yeah. So I got the E teams up. Which ones do we need to talk about?
So I only had one E team send me their roster and what they were expecting to happen this year. Relentless. She expects her players to maintain a high level performance and demonstrate exemplary behavior for themselves and their coaches and teammates, umpires. They're playing GSL, U Trip, and WSL at the E level. Their goal is to be better each week, learn, grow, work together through challenges on and off the field, and to develop better individually to win some tournaments. They're going to WSL World in Panama for the first weekend, and they're going to go to GSL in Vegas this year. Um, they said their goal is to finish top five in every tournament this year. And then Susan said her goal as a coach is to coach the E Challenge Cup next year. So she thinks her breakout player is going to be Nick Holland. She thinks he's a 700, 750 OBP guy. She anticipates him being on the Challenge Cup team next year. Nathaniel Ladd, left fielder, also 750, 800 OBP. And Logan Meyer, she thinks is an absolute stud and is going to turn some heads this year. Dalton Hughes, first-year tournament guy, skilled center fielder, fast, plays good defense. And then Mason Bennett, first full-year attorney ball, plays corner infield, true utility guy, can also play outfield if needed. So sounds like they're going to be a team in the E to reckon with. But again, I don't know anything about the E level, so I don't know who is in there.
So, sorry to jump back. Chris Wilson wanted to talk about his D team. I think Wilson's really good.
Is that BOS?
No, Woodpeckers.
Woodpecker, okay. Yeah, they were down in Dalton. They had a nice run down in Dalton as well.
I think they had one of my guys playing with them, right? That was Shanks. Shanks was playing with them.
Okay.
So Foreman, he was a really good C player not too long ago. Wilson, I think, is a nice player. Jeff Clemens, obviously, has played a lot of C. I think he's really good. Chris Day, he wanted to talk about his unretiring, so we're talking about Chris. I don't know most of these other guys, so I'll assume you guys are good, Wilson, but you'll have to prove it to me. All right. Hopefully, you guys come down a little bit and play here.
So I just got a message that they think the Zoo is the team to beat in the E.
I can see that. They were really good last year. Did they play some D? I think they might have played in some D tournaments. So I remember them placing well. I don't know their players very well, but I could definitely see them as a team that could be really good. Dark Waters has been in E for a little bit.
Now, do they still have that kid that everybody wanted to pick up, that Rothert kid?
I think so. Let's see. Yep, there he is, Zach Rothert. So you got a really good shortstop in E. That changes things, right? It makes you a contender.
Absolutely.
So I don't know most of these teams. Let's see if there's anybody else that sticks out before we move on. Apex, Gaddy always has a good team. They'll be up and down, but they'll win some tournaments that matter. Dark Horse. Do we know any of these guys?
Is that Eads?
I'm guessing, right? I don't see Eads on there. Oh, there he is on the bottom. So yeah, that's Eads and the boys. I'm not sure who any of these guys are besides Eads, but Dark Horse wins this. That goes back. Oh, Burkoffer. No way. So that's
Burkoffer left. Burkoffer's back with Dark Horse?
That's what it says.
Man, I figured he'd be with who was he with last year?
I forget what the team name was. I'm guessing that it's probably a lot of these guys. So, Burkoffer will tell you what you need to do to win. So I'm sure that helps out a lot. Okay. Then Aids has an E team out there too. We'll see how that works out. Outlaws Blue Chew. That's funny. So I'm sure we'll hear about a few of these E teams. I don't know anything about them right now, but we'll keep an eye on it. If anybody wants to come on and talk E, please.
Who are our local conference guys? Who are they playing with?
Yeah, I had that on my list. So there's not many anymore. It's BB. I'm guessing Boom, Stevie.
Bogus.
I don't think Bogus is playing.
He's not
Uh,
playing, huh?
um,
Is
so
Tabler still playing?
no, not that I'm aware of. Um, TK, I think wanders out middle of the year, but I don't think he's currently on a roster. Bellamy's not currently on a roster. So kind of sad to see. We had conference teams out of Cincinnati for years, and we don't have a team anymore, and we hardly have any players. So um,
Who's Bellamy with this year?
he's not with anybody.
Wow.
Kessler's done, right? We had his farewell show. I think I was talking to Bellamy on Monday. I think he wants to play, but he was not ready to commit to a team just yet. So he'll probably be out there at some point. Um, so I don't know. It's tough to say. I know Tommy's running a team. I'm guessing there'll be a few local guys on that, but I don't know many local guys playing conference this year. Okay, and then anything else on the rosters before we move on to the mailbag?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Um, Marcus Greer, pitching rubbers. They're different at different parks. Is that a big deal to you?
Me personally, it's not a big deal. Um, just gotta adjust and adapt. But I mean, muscle memory is key, but I don't throw many strikes anyway, so it don't matter.
I think that would drive me nuts. That's just the way I am. But I probably wouldn't be a very good pitcher either. So that would probably be way in my head. Good pitchers probably doesn't matter. They'll adjust. Zach Hayes wanted to shout out. Hey Hayes, love you, buddy. Josh North, pitching mat. Have you ever used one of those?
The mat behind the plate,
Yep.
is that what he means? Oh, I
Yep.
would love that. I would prefer it actually. That way, it takes everything out of the umpire's hand. If it hits the mat, it's a strike.
Okay. I've never loved I've never played with it, but I don't like the idea of it because it's not the strike zone, right? So the strike zone is above the knee, below the front shoulder, 3 to 10, three from release to 10, or whatever, 5 to 10, or whatever you might be playing. So you could technically throw a ball chin high and it'd be a strike. Um, or you could throw a ball over the shoulder and it'd be a strike, right? As long as it's under 10 feet. So that's my concern with the quality of umpires these days. I'm not beating up on anybody, but they're not as good as they used to be, and players take the blame for that. So I hear. Um, Maybe it is better to go that route. I don't know. Um, but if you like it, I take your word for it.
I just when I umpired senior ball on Monday nights, it's very rarely. I mean, you're allowed to throw it 12 feet in that league, so very rarely was there anything illegal. I mean, there's a couple guys that try to throw it 15, 16 feet in the air. You call it illegal, and they pretty much know. But if it hits the mat, they know it's a strike, and they don't bitch and complain about it because they know it hit the mat.
So Brian brings up a good point, right? These guys adjust in the box, right? They're in the front or the back. You put the mat there, and whatever it is whatever it is. That's a good point. So right now, you have to create an imaginary guy in the middle and try to imagine where his body would be. That's opposite. It's damn near impossible. That takes that away. That's a good point. So I'm sure the pitchers would love a mat. That way, they're not guessing. So I agree. Let me drop that.
What's your take on the plate being a strike? Because that's a strike in senior ball.
That's tough.
Yeah,
So what do you do when it hits the front of the plate? I mean, you're golfing, right?
yeah, pretty much. It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I like that at all. So um, those guys still hit it though, so I'm guessing they figure it out. I don't know. You stand way up in the box, I guess, or what do you do?
Yeah, I haven't had to do it yet, so I have no clue what I'd do or how I'd approach it. I imagine I have to stand up in the box and just hope anything over me doesn't hit the mat.
And then last Don Goins wanted to know about upcoming events. Don, we got 2 bashes after this weekend, and then there'll be an off weekend, and there's the mojo. So that's what's coming up in March. A lot of good softball, and that's kind of all I got for tonight. Do you have anything else you want to cover before we get out of here?
I wanted opinions on so I know we did a bracket reveal for the City Slam.
Yep.
I don't remember whether that went over well. People enjoyed that, seeing the bracket on here for the first time. If we could get that done for the Bass for Cash, whether they want it out earlier, I don't know. I need feedback on that.
Okay. So feedback on if you like the bracket reveal or not. I think that's cool. I enjoyed it. I would like to do it again, do more of that. But if you guys don't care, then we won't do it. So, yeah, I like that. Anything else?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to get back into it. Looking forward to seeing everybody down at the park this Saturday.
All right. See you out there. All right.
All right, man. Later.
Talk to you guys later. See ya.